Here's what he told his battalion leaders. The leadership inside the battalion. If you take care of your soldiers, they'll take care of you. According to Battle Company's Lieutenant Carl Olson, an OCS draftee who is sharp as a Hinson custom knife, the rules were simple. Check weapons, check feet, show that you care, and let the troops know if we get into deep shit, help will be on the way. I used every second, every day to train and instill discipline, beginning with something as basic as making sure every man wore his steel pot and carried his weapons at all times. We trained in the fire base. We trained on the ambush patrol. We trained sweeping a large patch of jungle. We trained searching for Charlie. I stressed to all the unit leaders that all of the drills must be executed over and over again until they become automatic. I wanted these soldiers to roll into a firing position or take counter-ambush action even in their sleep. Close combat allows little time to think. Do it right in training, and you'll do it right when the incoming slugs flash by. Training and discipline, discipline and training. The men groaned and moaned, but sacrificing and suffering together gave them pride in taking all that crazy bastard could throw at us, as Lieutenant Tollard described it. So now you're starting to get them unified a little bit, just in fighting against the man, against Hackworth. That's very similar to what happens in boot camp or in officer candidate school. The drill instructor or the drill sergeant sort of becomes the enemy that you're fighting against. You want to beat him. You don't want him to find dirt. You want your room to be squared away. You want the platoon to be squared away. And so you start to unify as a team. But the only reason you're unifying as a team is because there's someone to unify against.
Right.
And
is
then
that on purpose?
Kind of, yeah. And then eventually you realize that he's doing, it's the same thing that is being talked about here. Eventually you realize that he's doing this to make you a better person and make your unit stronger.
Yeah.
Hot chow, routine under Lark, was now a blurred memory from softer days. My idea of looking after the troops was not to spoon feed them, but to make them as hard as forged steel, deadly in their kill or be killed trade. Eating sea rations, everyone knew hot food could easily be flown in, made the point better than 10 lectures. The ways of the past were over. That's something I didn't talk about. Lark would have hot food delivered on a daily basis. And there's risk, and there'd be convoys that would get blown up, and Hackworth's, no, we're going to eat field food. The ways of the past were over. Stay alert and stay alive. You can't make a unit proud by praising it, and you can't make a soldier proud by telling him how tough or good he is. That's superficial stuff. No pain, no gain. They had to earn it. The standard was perfection. And not just for the grunts, all the battalion support personnel, cooks, clerks, supply, drivers were to be soldiers first. Important stuff. Your unit doesn't become good just by you telling them that they're good. In fact, I always think that sets them back. You're good to go. Oh, you're doing great.
Because they get that little bit of satisfaction there.
They get the satisfaction, and their ego starts to think, I'm doing great.
Right.
I'm doing great. Yeah. I don't need to train as hard.
Right. Even just for one day, I'm doing great.
Yeah,
I'm ahead of the
great.
game.
Maybe
or
I'll
whatever.
take a little day off over here.
Yeah.
Not a good plan. Regardless of my heavy schedule, I made sure to talk to every replacement to welcome them to the hardcore before they went out to their units. At night, I'd come back from operations late, and Sergeant Major Press would have the replacements assembled and waiting. I stretched to each new man how important he was, how important it was to follow the basic fundamentals of the infantryman's trade. With the zeal of evangelists, all hardcore leaders drilled into new guys that when they joined the hardcore, they were joining a special brotherhood. I made the code for these leaders simple and clear. Fight smart. Never be in a hurry. Lead from up front. Set the examples. Take care of the troops before you take care of yourself. Keep the good commo going. Follow the Vietnam Primer and the Battalion Combat Leader's Guide. That's it. Simple, clear instructions for his leadership. Many combat vets come to think they know it all and start taking shortcuts. They blow off the basics and neglect the little things that keep them alive because they get cocky or think it's better for their men's morale. They build a fire at dusk, smoke at night, walk on trails, don't carry their weapons, goof off on security, don't safe their grenades or weapons, wear mosquito repellent on ambush or patrol, don't send out flank security on operations. Shortcuts get you killed. The troops continued to bitch, but that changed when they saw the tough love was for real. One day Mergner saw a soldier wearing jungle boots with the toes worn out and immediately gave him a pair of his own, which happened to be the right size. The story spread like wildfire. Finally, someone cared. Not long afterward, Mergner went down in the CNC chopper to pick up a soldier wounded by a mine. As the medic slipped the wounded man on the chopper floor, he looked up at Mergner, grinned, saluted, and said, "Hardcore recondo, sir." A new gung-ho attitude started to take hold. And that's the opening of the book. And then you get into the combat that they went through, which was just a great stories and lessons you can learn from understanding the tactics that they used, the leadership, the pressure situations that they went through. And it's definitely a book that you should get and read so you can absorb all that information.